My dad made $90,000 a year.
We ate rice and ketchup 3 nights a week.
I didn't understand that until I was 27. And when I finally did, it broke something in me. Because I realized I was doing the exact same thing.
Hey, I'm Jordan.
And I don't usually start videos like that, with something personal. But this topic, I couldn't figure out another way in, because everything I'm about to tell you, I learned the hard way. Through watching my family, through watching myself, through years of making choices that felt responsible, and somehow still ending up with nothing left on the 28th of every month. This video isn't a list of tips. I'm not going to tell you to cut your coffee. That's not what this is.
What I want to do today is show you something that took me way too long to see. There are patterns, specific, repeatable, almost invisible patterns that keep people financially stuck. Not people who are lazy, not people who are irresponsible. Smart, hard-working people. People who are doing their best and still somehow falling behind.
And the uncomfortable part? Some of these patterns are going to sound familiar.
Stick with me, because there's one near the middle of this video that I genuinely think most financial content creators don't talk about, and it might be the most important one.
Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The Windshield Problem. Here's something I want you to think about and not answer yet. Just hold it. When was the last time you made a financial decision based on where you actually want to be in 5 years? Not where you hope to end up. Not some vague, I want to be comfortable thought. I mean a specific destination. Most people drive their financial life looking out the side window. They see what's happening right now. The bills, the pay, the price of groceries, and they react to that. Constantly reacting, never actually steering. I had a friend, I'll call him Marcus. Marcus made decent money, not crazy money, but enough. And every time we talked finances, he'd say the same thing. I just need a little more coming in and I'll start saving.
More came in. He got a raise, then another one.
He never started saving because he didn't have a destination. He had a direction, forward, but no address. And without an address, every financial decision is just a guess. Should I buy this? Should I save that? Should I take the overtime? These questions have no real answer when you don't know what you're building toward. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires you to actually sit down and write something specific. Not, I want to save more. That's a wish. Something like, I want $20,000 liquid in 22 months. That's a target. And targets change how you think about every single purchase that comes after.
Chapter 2. Surprised by the predictable.
Here's a stat that I keep coming back to. 1 in 3 Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency expense. Not $1,000, not a medical bill. $400. And every time I mention this, people say, that's other people. That's people who aren't managing well. Then their car breaks down. Or their tooth cracks. Or their landlord raises the rent mid-lease. And suddenly, they're on the phone with their parents at 34 years old, asking if they can borrow some money, just for this month. Here's what bothers me about the word emergency. We use it like these things are rare, like they're flukes. They're not. Cars break, appliances die, medical stuff happens, job situations shift. These are not surprises. They're scheduled chaos. They will happen. We just don't know when. So when someone has no buffer, they're not just stressed when the thing happens. They're making their worst financial decisions in their worst emotional moments. Putting the repair on a 27% interest credit card, skipping the repair and making it worse, borrowing from someone who'll bring it up at Christmas. The emergency fund isn't glamorous. It's not an investment. It won't make you rich,
but it will stop you from getting poorer every time real life shows up. Start with $500, just that, in a separate account you don't look at. That buffer will change more decisions than you realize.
Chapter 3. The Invisible Drain.
I want to tell you what happened when I first tracked my spending. Actually tracked it, every purchase, for 30 days.
I thought I knew where my money was going. I thought I was pretty aware.
I was not. I was spending $340 a month on food I didn't cook. Not fancy restaurants, just grabbing things. Lunch here, delivery there, a snack at the gas station. None of it felt like a meal. All of it added up to a number that genuinely made me feel a little sick when I saw it.
That's the thing nobody talks about. It's not one big bad decision that breaks most people's budgets. It's the 100 small decisions that each feel completely reasonable in isolation. The subscription you signed up for during a free trial and forgot to cancel. The $6 purchase you make 4 times a week because it's just $6. The I deserve this moments that happen more than you realize because you never see the total. You don't need an app. You don't need a spreadsheet. Just write it down for 1 month. Every dollar. That single exercise will show you more about your financial behavior than any YouTube video ever could, including this one. Chapter 4. Living for a self that doesn't exist yet. Okay, this one I have to be careful with because I don't want to moralize. I genuinely don't. But here's the honest tension. Enjoying your life right now is not wrong. Spending money on experiences, on things that make you happy, on living, that's not irresponsible. That's being a human.
The problem is when your present self makes financial decisions as if your future self is someone else's problem.
I see this a lot. People in their 30s spending everything they have because retirement is forever away. People in their 40s saying they'll start investing when things calm down. Things don't calm down. They shift. New expenses replace old ones. The future keeps arriving and keeps being underfunded.
It's not about sacrifice. It's about, I think the right word is proportion. Some for now, some for later. The percentage will look different for everyone, but when it's 100% for now and 0% for later, you're not living in the moment. You're borrowing from a version of yourself who didn't agree to that deal. Chapter 5. The $30,000 habit you call normal.
This is one that people push back on.
Hard. But I want to do the math out loud for a second, and I want you to stay with me even if it makes you defensive. Someone who smokes a pack a day is spending, at current prices, roughly $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Over 10 years, that's $30,000. Not accounting for what that money could have grown into if it had been invested. Now, I'm not here to lecture anyone about smoking. That's not my place. But the same person who was spending $30,000 over a decade on cigarettes will often say, sincerely, genuinely, I just can't afford to invest right now. And the same math applies to daily takeout, to premium subscriptions that go mostly unwatched, to habits that have just become so normal they've stopped feeling like decisions. Here's the question I'd ask you, not to make you feel bad, genuinely. What is your version of the $30,000 habit? What do you spend on regularly that you've stopped even consciously choosing? Because the answer to that question is where a lot of the money is hiding. Chapter 6. Debt that builds versus debt that eats. Not all debt is the same. I know that sounds obvious, but the way most people handle debt suggests they don't actually believe it. There's debt that puts something in your corner, a mortgage on a property that appreciates, a loan to start a business that generates income, education that genuinely raises your earning capacity. That debt, when it's working, is building something.
Then there's debt that is just consuming. A car you financed because it felt like time for an upgrade. A vacation on a credit card because you needed a break. Consumer goods bought on installment because the monthly payment seemed manageable. That debt doesn't build anything. It charges you to borrow money for things that are also losing value. You're paying interest on a depreciating asset. That's the worst possible financial position to be in, and it's incredibly common because it's incredibly easy to get into. The practical piece: list your debts, all of them. Balances, interest rates, put the highest interest debt at the top. Put every extra dollar you can find toward that one first. This isn't complicated, it's just uncomfortable enough that most people avoid it. I need to stop here for a second, and I need you to actually think about this. There are two types of people watching this video right now. The first type is nodding along thinking, yeah, I know people like this. They're filing this away as information about other people's problems. The second type is watching this and feeling something slightly uncomfortable, a little tight in the chest, because they recognize themselves in some of this, maybe more than they'd like to admit. Which one are you? Because the gap between those two people isn't intelligence. It's not income. It's just honesty. Before we keep going, drop a comment right now. Just one number. Which chapter so far hit closest to home? Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? You don't have to explain. Just a number. I read these, and it'll help me understand what to cover more in future videos. Okay, let's keep going because we haven't gotten to the one that I think is the most underrated. Chapter 7. The audience you're performing for. This one's uncomfortable. I want you to think about the last major purchase you made. Not groceries. Something significant. A car, a piece of clothing, a phone upgrade, home decor. Now, I want you to ask yourself, honestly, who did you picture seeing it? Because a lot of spending isn't really about the thing. It's about the story the thing tells. The watch that says, I've made it. The car that says, I'm doing well. The apartment in the right neighborhood that signals the right kind of life. And here's the cruel irony. The research consistently shows that truly wealthy people tend to drive older cars, wear unremarkable clothes, and live in houses that are comfortable but not performative. They stopped spending money on looking wealthy a long time ago because looking wealthy and becoming wealthy require the same dollars going in opposite directions. Meanwhile, the people spending the most energy on appearance are often the ones with the least financial cushion. I'm not immune to this. I've made purchases I wasn't honest with myself about. Most of us have. The question to ask before a significant purchase: am I buying this to solve a problem or to manage an impression? If the honest answer is the second one, that's information worth having. Chapter 8. Backwards and Broke. Here's what I think's the most underrated thing in this entire video. This is the one I teased at the beginning. Most people pay themselves last. Paycheck comes in, bills go out, groceries, gas, subscriptions, and then, if anything survives, maybe something goes to savings. The problem is that nothing survives. Life has this way of expanding to consume exactly what's available, and when your financial future gets the leftovers, it usually gets nothing. The flip? Pay yourself first, automatically, before bills, before groceries. A set amount moves to savings or investments the moment your paycheck lands, like a bill you owe yourself. Even $75 a month, even $50. The amount is less important than the order of operations. What this does psychologically is actually profound. Once the money is gone, moved somewhere you don't see it daily, you adapt. You find a way to live on what remains. You make different decisions. You stop assuming there will be something left over because you've already taken care of the one thing that matters most.
This is the shift that made the biggest difference for me personally. Not a budgeting app, not a financial seminar, just changing who got paid first.
Chapter 9. Afraid of risk, losing anyway.
Here's a thing most people don't acknowledge.
Not investing is a financial decision, a risky one.
Keeping your money in a savings account, earning 0.5%, while inflation runs at 3 to 4%, means you are getting poorer in real terms, slowly, quietly, but consistently.
Avoiding risk doesn't protect you from risk. It just changes which risk you're taking. I understand the fear. I had it. Investing felt like gambling, like you'd check your account one day and it'd just be gone. And yes, markets go down, real estate goes sideways, businesses fail. Risk is real. But the goal isn't to eliminate risk. It's to take managed risk, the kind with reasonable odds and reasonable upside. Index funds, a rental property saved up for properly, a side business started small. These aren't gambles. They're structured bets where the math, historically, has been on your side.
Staying still isn't safety. It just feels safer while the ground slowly shifts beneath you.
Chapter 10. Time for money is a trap with no exit. Most people have one income stream, their job, which means their income is capped by one thing, how many hours they can work. There's a ceiling, and it's lower than most people want to admit. Wealthy people understand, and this isn't a secret, it's just under-implemented, that real financial freedom comes from income that doesn't require your continuous presence. Rental income, dividend income, a business that runs without you, royalties, something that generates money while you're sleeping or on a Saturday morning or dealing with a family situation. Getting there requires sacrifice up front. Living smaller than your income allows so you can save the down payment on a rental. Working evenings on something you own. Investing time now in something that pays you later without requiring your time. Most people know this. Few do it. Because it's uncomfortable in the short term. And humans are not naturally wired for long-term uncomfortable things. But the alternative is working until you physically cannot, hoping the math works out. That's not a retirement plan. That's just optimism with paperwork. Chapter 11. What you don't know is costing you. Last one. Most people got their financial education, if they got any, in school, which means they learned almost nothing practical. And then they stopped learning. Financial laws change. Tax strategies evolve. New investment vehicles emerge. The information that was true 15 years ago may be incomplete or just wrong now. But more importantly, without ongoing financial knowledge, you're completely dependent on whoever is trying to sell you something. The advisor who earns commissions, the ad that makes a product sound simple, the friend who swears a thing worked for them. You don't need to become a financial expert, but you need enough knowledge to ask good questions, to know when something sounds too easy, to understand what compound interest is actually doing for or against you. Books, podcasts, reputable channels, not financial entertainment, actual education. It doesn't take much, but the gap between someone who understands money and someone who doesn't is enormous over a lifetime. So that's 11 patterns, 11 ways smart, hardworking people quietly bleed money without realizing it. Here's what I want you to take from this, and I mean this genuinely, not as a content video wrap-up. You don't need to fix all 11. That's not realistic, and it's not how behavior change works. Pick one. The one that felt most like you when you heard it. Just that one. for the next 30 days.
That's it.
One pattern addressed honestly for 1 month will teach you more about your financial life than a year of reading about everyone else's.
My reflection question for you: if someone watched your spending for the last 90 days, every transaction, every decision, and had to describe your financial priorities based purely on the data, what would they say matters most to you? Is that accurate? Is that what you actually want to be true? Drop your answer below, or just drop what you're working on financially right now. I genuinely want to know where people are. It helps me make better videos, and honestly, it helps you say out loud a thing that might need to be said. If this hits something real for you, subscribe. I make videos like this regularly. No hype, no get rich quick, just honest conversations about money and the behavior behind it. Next video, I want to talk about something that I think is even more foundational than anything we covered today: the psychology of why we overspend, even when we know we shouldn't. The emotional stuff underneath the financial stuff. That one's going to be uncomfortable in a different way. I'm Jordan. Thanks for spending time here. Take care of yourself. And take care of your future self, too. They're counting on you more than you know. See you next time.